Let's head now to the papers to see what stories are trending at this time. I begin with this Nigeria. Now, this Nigeria is leading with the threat by the terrorists. Of course, our last two news reports alluded to that. This Nigeria is describing it as panic in Abuja. 3 soldiers injured as bandits attack presidential guards. It's also panic in Abuja as described by The Nation. This over attack on soldiers by terrorists. Now we're on to The Nation. 3 presidential guards also wounded. Panic and panic, even though officials are saying there's no cause for alarm. First News is next. It's called, now still on the attack in Abuja on Monday, a daring one as described by First News. Terrorists ambushed presidential guards in Abuja, injured 3 soldiers, gunmen within location to attack Buhari Law School, that's the Nigerian Law School, the headquarters of the Nigerian Law School, that's that, as well as other targets. This is according to a military source. Incidentally, well, let's move on. We'll get to talk about that in due course. Daily Trust is next. Captain and 2 soldiers killed after terrorist threat on Abuja Law School. Army confirms attacks as troops common area. FG puts schools on red alert nationwide. Kelly has some more Nigerian dailies.
All right, the blueprint says terror scare in the FCT, the nation's capital. FG Kwali shot 20 days after Kuje jailbreak. And of course, there's also the story of Brigade of Guards foil attack on law school Buhari. Parents evacuate students, Unity schools on red alert. Or FGC, I should say rather, FGC Kwali shot 20 days after Kuje jailbreak. For leadership is next. It says to avert security breach in Abuja, FG closes schools, beefs up security in Unity colleges nationwide. Well, that's the leadership there, the main rider. And the Punch strays away from security stories. Says ASUU strike, NLC solidarity rally holds today, Tuesday. Police warn hoodlums. The NLC solidarity strike, even though Mr. Yubaba says it's not a solidarity strike, it's actually a major strike by the NLC. Well, the Nigerian news director is next. Away from the Punch, says rebirth anxiety as victims kick over alleged sack of 500 NNPC staff. Offers juicy packages to appease affected staff. Anxiety as victims kick over alleged sack of 500 NNPC staff. Offers juicy packages to appease affected staff. But perhaps this may not be far-reach from the fact that the NNPC was only just transitioned into a commercial entity on Tuesday last week. The national economy gets our attention next. It says boom likely in commercial tricycle business over proposed Okada ban. The price of keke may hit 1 million naira. Experts project a boom likely in commercial tricycle business over proposed Okada ban. Price of keke may hit 1 million naira. Experts. And away from the national economy, the business day gets our focus next. It says states owe CBN 1.24 trillion naira as FARC disappoints. States owe CBN, that's the Apex Bank, Nigeria's central bank, 1.24 trillion naira as FARC disappoints. Well, that does it for us for Business Day.
Yes, and from this we check out some of the major dailies outside Nigeria. In the UK, of course, well, the Daily Telegraph is reporting a fierce debate between the 2 conservative leadership hopefuls, that's PM Rishi Sunak and former Foreign Secretary Liz Truss. We understand there was a fierce debate on Monday. Interesting scene there. Of course, accusations and counter-accusations. Liz Truss labels PM Sunak that he would be a new Gordon Brown if elected as Prime Minister. Of course, Sunak also said, reminded her that she was a Remainer. She was among those who voted to remain in Europe, as against the larger percentage of Britons who voted out. And of course, out it is, looking at the fallout of Brexit. All right. Of course, the last paper at this time is Financial Times. Fears of Europe gas crunch mount as Russia cuts Nord Stream 1 flows. Of course, Russia tightening its hold on gas supplies in Europe as the war against Ukraine continues. All right, Kelly, let's talk some more about the situation in Nigeria. We've spoken about the NLC nationwide protest that should begin any moment from now. But of course, while we are monitoring this, we'll talk extensively during the show again today. But yesterday we spoke about heightened security tension, specifically about the video that circulated on Sunday about some hostages, about 40-something hostages left. We just saw a scene there of them being tortured by their captors. And now we understand 4 more hostages have been released. Is it 3 now? Have been released. While that is on, of course, the protests in Abuja, people clamoring that the federal government should do more to release their loved ones still in captivity. And while that is also on, Abuja in itself also in the news, unpalatable news. Of course, it's the seat of power. We can't speak so much about how an attack on Abuja, what that would imply for the rest of the country.
Well, Kemi, this is the sad reality. This is what Nigerians have, or Nigeria has been reduced to. This is what Nigerians have, you know, I don't know what the word is now.
Because we're speaking about this during the break.
When you look at, you know, we're just asking, I was just asking, how on earth, with the developments in insecurity the past few months, how on earth do you wait until there's a threat before you begin to deploy security officials?
You even asked the question.
Secondary schools.
Right. You even asked the question during the break that from what we are seeing, it appears that they are in the capital city.
Capital. So it shows. So they're in the capital, according to this reports and all of that. The nation's capital, where the seat of power is. So terrorists are in the capital. Of course, there are, because they broke into the Kuje Correctional Center and released Boko Haram terrorists who were there. So if the center, I think it's things fall apart, I would say the center cannot hold, you know. But I'm just surprised that with the attacks on schools very recently, so it means that the unity schools across the country still didn't have security presence.
And there was a safe school initiative where billions of naira were said to be released after the Chibok incident. Of course, there was a clamor, there was an advocacy, and then we did see the creation of a safe school policy targeting not just schools in the north. But then even after that, we also saw attacks on schools, especially boarding houses, schools with boarding house facilities, you know, also being attacked even here in Lagos and, you know, other parts of the country. Well, now it appears that academic activities in secondary schools, unity schools especially, would now have to be suspended. We understand the minister has said all activities must end. Is it today or tomorrow now?
Of course, from the reports we even saw from Celestina, some students have been evacuated.
They don't even need to be told before parents, understandably.
You know, have had to go to schools and pick up their children. We can't even blame them. But it also shows that, indeed, our education is under serious threat. I think it was last week we discussed the issue of out-of-school children. You see how, because of insecurity, because of one problem that was mismanaged since 2009 when Boko Haram insurgency started, and up till today, it has not been solved. And so because of insecurity issues, In the north, for instance, that we know that there's a high level of out-of-school children. The kidnap of students in Zamfara, in Kaduna, in very recent times, of course, would have done a big damage to the education in this country. But imagine this kind of news now at the center of the country. So I think education is under very serious threat, and I don't know what exactly our leaders are doing. I don't know what exactly the service chiefs are doing. I don't know how else we can actually fix this issue of insecurity. Yes, we can make arguments, oh, it's a global thing, there is terrorism in many parts of the world, there is this and that and that, but I mean, there are still some countries that are really very safe, that Nigerians are beginning to run to. And it's not a good thing, actually, that we're losing our best brains, we're losing our intelligent minds to other countries, to develop other countries, because we can't fix this sole issue of insecurity. Our borders, of course, we know they're porous. Whether we shut them down or not, we still see an infiltration of persons from neighboring African countries and all of that. So I think this government has just 7 or 8 months to be in power. Mr. President's determination to fix the issues of insecurity, even though it looks as if Nigerians may not really buy into his words in very recent times, but I think he can finish strong. He can finish well.
I share your belief too.
If he can.
I share your belief too.
Some people wonder if he could not do it in 7 years plus. Is it 7, 8 months? But well,
but of course,
better is the end of a thing.
Right, but of course, like I said, I agree with you that this next few months remaining in the Buhari presidency are crucial.
Very crucial.
And he will be judged by how well or otherwise on what situation or form of governance or form of country he leaves behind when he leaves office. Incidentally, we can speak on and on and on about the implications of this, how that the terrorists seem to have Nigeria exactly where they want them to be, and they don't appear to be done, despite the body language of the administration saying that they've been substantially decimated and all that.
Technically
well,
degraded.
The facts speak for themselves. And this week also we understand that at the Nigeria Law School, that is even the scene where successful law school students, have their call to bar ceremony, and this week would have been the time for that. They're preparing for a call to bar ceremony, but now with this heightened tensions in that part of Abuja, this is not central Abuja. I remember when I was plying that route many years ago, before where I lived in Abuja for a while. When I was plying that route, I remember that area had always been, kind of porous, because we're even robbed there at the time. So that place is like in the outskirts of the FCT. So you can imagine how, as in this thing is pretty glaring, not just should you secure your countrymen and women in, outskirts, but of course, it also begs the question that they also need protection, adequate protection, yes, even in the capital areas. Yes. Of course, we've spoken on and on. Apologies, I'll soon be done. We've spoken on and on about the Kuje jailbreak. Of course, a number of them were recaptured. It also bit my imagination how they seem to have, crossed borders, interstate borders. Now, so some were even found down south in Ogun State.
We gave it a mention yesterday that the video that was released in Kaduna about the video of the Kaduna train kidnapped victims, the terrorists bragged that one of their members had reunited with them. And I was asking yesterday, how come from the nation's capital and the terrorist was able to find his way back to the forest in Kaduna? But well, I mean, this has been averted, so to say. This particular attack has been averted, and maybe we should for once even commend the security agencies. Yes, I think we should just commend the security agencies for even, probably ensuring that this attack was foiled in the first place. The story would have probably been different. So we commend you, security officials. We also wish that you would keep doing Nigerians proud and keep doing the duty that you vowed to do, which is to protect the lives of the average Nigerian. We understand that circumstances or situations may not really be very impressive or good, but please, we still want a secured nation.
For the forces and give them all the needed support, of course, and of course, no support is not enough.
Mr. President asked for our support as the media, so please, we are supporting you. We're supporting the government. We are behind you, please.
Let's hope that, of course, the situation gets better and better, and we have something really palatable to discuss next time.